Hello everybody, welcome to my garden. My name is Paul, this is It's a Camping Thing, and yes, I do apologise in advance because I'm wearing Crocs. I'm sorry. Anyhow, I'm in my garden because it is a bank holiday weekend, and for those of you who live outside the UK and not sure what goes on, a bank holiday is where some of us who are lucky enough, we get a 3-day weekend as opposed to a 2. The weather's nice, all the kids are off school, and that means the campsites are going to be fully booked. And I'm not someone who likes to go around pointing the camera for tent videos when there's kids running around and people are trying to enjoy a little bit of privacy. So I'm here in the privacy of my own garden for this particular video. And I'm also planning my second wild camp, and that's what this video is all about. My first wild camp back in May of 2022, this year, I did it fit for my birthday. I was using the Nature High Cloud Peak 2, and that trip was incredible. I loved it. The tent performed perfectly, and I've got no qualms with the kit that I was taking. Only the pad, the sleeping pad I was using, the Trekology UL80, that let me down about 3 times. But other than that, everything went perfect, and I love that trip. However, for this particular trip, I want to do things differently. I obviously want to take different kit for starters, and that's where the Vango Banshee 200 Pro comes in, because out of all the range of tents that I've got, the backpacking ones, I've got the Vango Banshee 200 Pro, the Vango Banshee 300 Pro, which is a slightly larger version of the 200, and I've got my Nature High Cloud Peak 2. Now, I don't want to be using the Nature High Cloud Peak 2, so we can get rid of that one. That just leaves me with the option of the Vango Banshee 200 and the Vango Banshee 300. Now, both these tents you can buy right now. There are some changes because these tents I did purchase a couple of years ago, but fundamentally they are the same tents that you can go out and purchase right now. Now, I'm gravitating towards the Vango Banshee 200 Pro because it is a smaller pack size, and I'm trying to get things as small as possible. It's a little bit like my stoves. I've got the Jetboil Zip and the Jetboil Minimo. Both are great stoves. Some have advantages over the other, but I tend to go for the Jetboil Zip because it is just that little bit smaller. And it's the same in this case with the tents. The pack size is smaller. Now, I may regret it if I go on this trip and it pours down with rain. Maybe I want a little bit extra room, possibly to sit up. In that case, the Vango Banshee 300 Pro would be a better tent to take. It just means I'm gonna have to take less gear with me in the pack. So these are all factors that I've got to consider right here in this practice in the garden. I've got my bag all set up over there with all the kit that I plan to take, and I'm just going to see if I can fit it in and effectively have a wild camp, even though I'm in the safety and comfort of my own home. I'd rather do it here than get there and then realise the fact that actually I took the wrong tent. Okay, as I've just mentioned, I've opted for the Vango Banshee 200 as opposed to the Vango Banshee 300, purely on the fact that the pack size is going to be smaller with the 200 as opposed to its larger version, the 300. Now, the bag that the 200 Pro comes in is right here, and that's quite a sizable bag for anybody's rucksack. That's going to take up quite a chunk. Now, admittedly, yes, you probably will do save it down to about so forth, but it's still quite a large size. But I can reduce the size of the tent even further by using an airtight stuff sack like the one I've got here, and the Vango Banshee 200 Pro is in this bag right now. So as you can see, there's a notable difference in size between the two. Quite incredible, really, and that's just by squeezing out all the air that would otherwise be in the tent. In fact, if I put that into its original bag, I can easily see that a good 20, maybe 25% of the original volume that would have otherwise have been taken up by the air in the tent has now been eradicated, and I can use that space effectively in my rucksack by filling it with other camping gear. Now, I know what you're going to say, but Paul, you've forgotten the poles. You need the poles to put the tent up. Yeah, poles are right here, and they're not going to take up that much room, but if need be, I can still store them in some other part of my rucksack where space is at less of a premium. The fact of the matter is, I have reduced the size, the pack size of that tent significantly than what I had as if I were taking it into its original stuff sack, and that for me is an awesome idea. Now, all that's left for me to do now is just get that tent up. Well, I did say it was a small tent. I mean, yeah. Ooh. And close that out. Yeah. Compact and bijou. Vestibule's on this side. Yeah. It is tiny. We've got the tension ropes as well, which you can put through. But I don't think I'm going to bother with them, if I'm honest. Yeah, I think this will be all right. I hope. Anyway, time to get that gear in. Okay, time has since ticked on since the last time I spoke to you. I set up the Vango Banshee 200 Pro and I've set up all the bedding inside. I'm using a Vango sleeping bag, I'll put the name of it down below for you. And also as well, I'm using a bed which is called an U-Sport. This I purchased on Amazon a couple of years ago. It's now sadly discontinued and it's not, unfortunately, one of those pads that reflects a lot of the heat back up into the body. So wearing something like what I'm wearing now probably isn't going to keep me warm during the night. And my first wild camping trip, I did notice the cold, and that was in May. So wearing something like this probably isn't going to be effective. And luckily for me, in my bag of kit that I've got pre-packed already is another pack of clothes. This is to be able to walk around the tent and keep warm and ultimately sleeping as well. So this hopefully should be a little bit warmer than what I'm wearing now. I just kind of need to get changed. 1 minute. There we go. That's better. Now I've got a fleece with a hood on and I'm also wearing some hiking trousers as well, so hopefully that should keep me warmer than wearing just t-shirt and shorts. And yeah, now I feel a little bit better tackling the cold at night. There we go. Didn't know I had superpowers, did you? Well, folks, it's just gone 9:45 at night. I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning. I've just climbed into the tent. I'll save the indignity of me climbing through my big, fat, wobbly bum and getting into bed. So, yeah, I've got the sleeping bag over me. I did actually check the temperature just before I came out of the tent, and it is 23 degrees centigrade at the moment. And, yeah, it's pretty warm. At the moment, I feel a little bit overdressed, if you know what I mean. But the temperature can drop, and often does during the night. I work nights, Monday to Friday, so I know all of that all too well. You probably noticed the fact I've got quite a lot of pillows. I just love pillows. I like to feel my head propped up. It might not be very good for my posture later on in life, but I just find it's just a comfortable way for me to sleep. Yeah, I'm using what am I using? A Vango Trek Light Ultra 600 sleeping bag. Sport sleeping pad, which is now sadly discontinued. I've got 2 of these. It has actually got a built-in pillow, but as I said, I love my pillows. Stuff that I've got in here as well. I've also got a Jetboil Zip stove, and I've got some water, and obviously some coffee. I do plan to get up first thing in the morning and have a coffee. I got one of those cappuccino capsules, and then my Crown de la Resistance, I don't even know what that means. My Sea to Summit X mug, which I love. I love this. This is my jewel in the crown. Being a Formula 1 fan, I know that. Jewel in the crown. That's my jewel in the crown, that is. I love that. Folds down to absolutely nothing. I've also got, not that I will be using it, because when you go wild camping, occasionally Mother Nature just goes, ooh, you need to use the bathroom. And we're not talking about number 1s here, folks. We're talking about the number 2. Now, I'm not going to be using it because if I need to have a number 2, then I can use the toilet upstairs. But if you're out wild camping, you don't have that luxury. So you use one of these, a trowel. About £6 off Amazon. Pretty durable plastic, actually. I have tried digging with it, and yeah, reasonable, pretty good. Obviously, you need something to clean the derriere with. Toilet paper. And that's all in a sealed Ziploc bag because I will be taking everything away with me. And again, the reason why that's in here is because this is a simulated wild camp. This is trying to see how much I can fit in here for that, and I can leave my bag outside. So yeah, I've got all my camera gear in here that I would be using. Got my little pump. This is my, what is it called? I forget the name of it now. Flextail gear. This is the mini one. Now, when I first purchased this, I said the fact that this bit kept falling off, the end bit, and I've actually glued this one on. Now, that's glued on, so I can, that would have fallen off before. And then my other attachment can just fit over the end, and then I've got the option of either one or the other. And also fit that like that. So now this doesn't fall off, and I can still use other attachments as well. Pretty cool. And I say I had to super glue it on because literally there's about 1 millimetre, 1.5 millimetres on the end. And I just found it kept falling off, which wasn't good. Right, folks, it's late. I've had a long day. I've got another long day tomorrow. So I shall bid you good night, and I'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning, folks. It's just gone 5:38 in the morning. As with wild camping, you set up late and you leave early. So this would be sort of indicative of that. But I had to get a tent twice in the night. I had to go to the toilet. I slept all right. The pad's fine. Very comfortable. I don't feel cold through that. I've got a full mat below. This isn't one of those high-end pads, so it's not like a thermarest or anything like that, but pad's very comfortable. Got no complaints there. I've used a full mat to reflect the heat back up, but the problem I've got is this sleeping bag is just too cold. It's just not warm enough. I just don't feel insulated by it at all. It's almost like just throwing a lightweight blanket over you. And for all intents and purposes, it might as well be. I just don't feel any different from where my hands are now to where the rest of my body is, and that's a disappointment. So I'm going to have to look at another sleeping bag for sure. I've got a few in my kit, and I'll go through and see what is going to be better suited. But yeah, right, folks, there's going to be a sunrise, so I'm going to go out there and do a time lapse. I'm going to feed Buster. I've got a very busy day today, so I need to crack on, and then I'm going to have a cup of coffee. So I shall catch you in a little while. Hello, I've got changed. Look, I'm all smart. I'm in me togs. Look at this. Yes, I had to go to the hospital. I had to take my mum, and she's okay. Everything's fine. She just had to have a little bit of a checkup. But yeah, just got back from being taxi driver for the day. So this tent, the Vango Banshee 200 Pro, purchased in 2020. It's a little bit luminous, as I've mentioned before, stands out like a sore thumb. Not exactly discreet when you're going wild camping, but the 2022 model, the model that's on sale now, I do believe is a slightly darker shade of green, which is ultimately going to blend in with the surroundings much more, which is what you want when you're wild camping and want to be discreet. There's a couple of other changes as well. I noticed that on this tent, that the guide ropes at the front actually hook around the front pole. On the 2022 version, there's actually like a flap for the ventilation. They hook onto that. As I said, it's a slightly different colour, but the dimensions look pretty much the same from as far as I can see. This tent is a tent which has had to grow on me. When I first purchased it, it was because I wanted to see how small I could go. I was used to massive 3 and 4 person tents. This for me was a little bit of a departure. I purchased the Vango Banshee 300 and was kind of curious as to how small I could actually go, so subsequently purchased this one not soon after. Yeah, it's very claustrophobic, for want of a better word, at first. When you first try it out the first few times, it does literally feel like the tent wall is there and there's no escaping that. But you close your eyes and all of a sudden you could be in a large tent for all it matters. I like it a lot, and it has grown on me, and I really like it, and now I am considering it for my next wild camp. But there's still an element of doubt. So this tent will now be going down. I've cleared out that condensation, opened up all the doors, allowed all that air to go through whilst I've been out for the day. I've got the luxury to do it while I'm in my garden, after all. And then that'll hang up on the line. And then for the next video, I'm going to start filming straight away, because in the next video, which you can see on this channel, I'll be looking a little bit more in depth at the Vango Banshee 300 Pro. And that's a tent I've had since 2019. I camped out it in Somerset. We had a big storm. It handled the weather really well. But I'm still considering it for this next wild camp. As much sold as I am for this, there's still that little bit of element of doubt. So I'm going to take this down, and in the next video you can see that Vango Banshee 300 Pro right here on this channel. So all that remains me to do is just say thank you very much for watching. I'm going to end this video now, and then I hope to see you in the next one. And please consider subscribing to the channel if you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. To infinity. I love YouTube. And there we go. I've got changed. Didn't know I had superpowers, did you? There you go, you learn something every day. So now I'm using a... Oh. I am so dizzy. I had a beer before this as well. No good. It's baking hot at the moment. But yeah, superpowers, eh? Whatever next, eh? No, that doesn't work yet. Kind of working on that one. Yeah.